Guys, I really tried it. I tried very hard to get through an entire live stream of LolCoWBuS, starring Amberlynn Reid, Fupa Cheese, and Scooter, but it was harder than I imagined. Aside from being mind-numbingly boring, it was really gross. However, I wanted to give the people what they want and an inside look without having to watch it themselves. The episode I watched was Finding Love and Breaking Hearts, which aired on Valentine's Day. I'm not sure I'd say the episode actually had anything to do with finding love or breaking hearts. Maybe I missed something. It was more like talking about really gross subjects, like 14-year-olds that found a book they weren't supposed to read. Breaking hearts? Well, maybe the hearts of family members and people that really care about them, because being associated with this mess must be really embarrassing. You can't even imagine it. Having people see my family member up there pouring things on their heads and chests that look like it came out of the toilet. Mm. Amber said she made over $1 million on YouTube and has nothing to show for it. And I think she's saying this in response to people who understand the back end of YouTube and have talked about how some months she was raking in $30,000 per month. It's crazy to think that a person that made that much money doesn't even have a car. Like a little beater Honda Civic, just something to hop in and go to the store. But she doesn't. And when she lost monetization, she cried about not knowing how she was going to survive. There were times where she even said, if you want to send pennies, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'll take anything. But there were times she was using DoorDash for a Diet Coke because McDonald's Diet Coke is extra special. Scooter asks how she blew through her money, and Fupa interjects with torrid hauls, DoorDash, and Choosies. During her demonetization live stream, she talked about how she had spent nearly $10,000 on Choosy items. Let me tell you about Choosy. Where do I begin? It's a game that she made up. Say you buy a bucket, or you buy just hundreds and hundreds of stickers and earrings and crock charms and I don't know, cute little whatever, little things, tchotchkes, trinkets. And then the goal is to spend an hour or more picking through those items and deciding which one is your favorite. So, this charm and this charm, which one's your favorite? Okay, between this one and this one, which one's your favorite? Okay, you got that. Between this one and this one, which one's your favorite? Okay, now we got that. Between that one, which one's your favorite? Okay, you decided between that. Okay, now which one's your favorite? Oh, between these two, which one's your favorite? Which one's your favorite? Do you get the picture? She did that to Beck. Which one's your favorite? Which one's your favorite? I would lose my mind. Okay, Amber brings up FFG, says she's one of Chantal's biggest ops, and brings up that FFG says some of the meanest things on YouTube. She wonders how that's even allowed. Are you effing serious? That's rich coming from Amber. She's one of the most vile shows, or she's on one of the most, she's one of the most vile shows. Well, she is a show in herself, but a sideshow. Anyway, she's on one of the most vile shows I've seen, and she says things to other women that are extremely offensive, but she's worried about FFG. Okay, girl. This live stream is extremely boring. There's nothing going on here to make me actually want to watch it. Actually want to watch it. Nothing unique. Amber mentions FFG faking an accent and says, that sounds borderline racist. Again, interesting coming from Amberlynn, who goes from Valley Girl to Southern Belle to Black Scent, all depending on who she's talking to or ranting about. Amber takes on the personalities of who she's around because she struggles to find her own. That could be an entire video of its own. And I'm thinking that I might want to do a little deep dive. It's kind of weird how some like she's I don't think she has like a split personality disorder. I don't think that's what they call it anymore. But somebody who goes from being a certain type of personality to now being totally different. I don't know, it's just totally weird. Anyways, she talks about somebody who calls themselves Porcahontas being in their Discord, VC. Amber said she was ready to brawl, but the person was too boring and inebriated to argue with. And now she says the person is too afraid to appear in their chat. She says that about a lot of people, accuses them of being afraid. I think people just get bored or they realize they'll be silenced anyway, so what's the point? It's never a fair place to have a conversation. The person will be cut off, yelled over, or have to defend themselves a bit against Amber and Scooter because he won't stop butting in. Amber says someone creepy is calling her and Emily and making it look like one another's numbers. She said the voice sounds like Pocahontas and struggles to enunciate the word similar when speaking about their voice. Anywho, Scooter eats baby food. He whines that his eyes are watering. This is typical of a challenge from Scooter. It goes a little something like this. Hit it. Send in 20 donuts and I'll eat this jar of baby food. Then he'll sit back and say, please don't make me eat this baby food. It's so stupid. You were the one that brought up the challenge. And it's so transparent. Come on, dude. Get another racket going. They try to get Fupa to tell her exact age, which she doesn't. Scooter said she looks like she's about 40. Fupa 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 tells him he looks like he's about ready to go into a nursing home. I'd say she's being kind there. He actually looks like a floater pulled from the Hudson River. Bloated and floated, green skin slippage. You get the idea. Smelly. And anyway, Scooter brings up what looks like bed bug bites on Amber's arms, to which she says are from her cat, and that she picks it and can't stop. She's been doing this since she was an itty bitty baby child, and says she has something called excoriation. maybe it would be a good idea to cover that up so that you don't trigger other people who have excoriation. No? Okay, whatever. They have another challenge. If they get 25 members, they'll free the Greys. I'd just like to point out that the reaction channel Amber hates so much got over 90 gifted memberships on the same day, and he never has to ask for one. People just do it because they want to. He also doesn't have members only chats. For those who don't know what's meant by freeing the Greys, if you don't have a channel membership and you're on a live stream, your name will appear gray. If you do have a membership, it'll appear green. So when they turn on members only live streams, people who are not members can't say anything in the live stream. Um, so you can't chat during a members only live stream. Amber says she's not going to fat camp. This time it's because Tina said she broke a toilet or a chair, I forgot. And Amber says if Tina broke something, then what am I going to do? Amber has had an excuse almost every damn day for why she's not going to fat camp. If she doesn't go, it will simply be because she does not want to. Okay? And she's not going to. This is a 5-hour live stream, and I'm about 25 minutes in. And even skipping around, I can't do it. It's torture. I skipped around another hour, and they're asking, why do people wear underwear? All I can do is shake my head. Are we 10 years old? Another discussion point, whipped cream or Cool Whip? And I'm going to lose my damn mind. I skipped to 2 minutes at, Jesus, 2 hours and 38 minutes in, and the question was, is there something in the bedroom that you tried and didn't like? Amber takes that opportunity to say anything with Beck. Amber will not pass up any opportunity to trash Beck. Most people realize that it's rage baiting, but I also think it's more sinister than that. She truly hates Beck. Was it the washcloth in the sink? Was it everyone finding out that Beck wiped you for over a year? The only reason Girl World found out about those things was because you were repeatedly trying to humiliate Beck. How much of your crap was Beck supposed to take? Why do you hate Beck so much? I skipped to 3 hours and 50 minutes in. More people joined the panel. Still inappropriate, and I quit at that point. I just can't do it anymore. Now to the comments. I like to read the comments on certain pages. Well, they're not pages. I'm like getting them confused with Facebook. But anyways, I like to read the comments on certain YouTube channels that either I like or don't like because I like to give people a voice. And, my channel's so huge, I figured I could take that opportunity. Anyways, the scream heard around Girl World. It sounded like the exorcism of Amberlynn Reid. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amberlynn, you are making an absolute sideshow of yourself. And I don't mean the ones that they do on the freeway where they do little donuts and burnouts and kind of cool stuff like that. More like the and Keem, he's the circuit master. Circuit? He's the carnival person that runs everything. Jester? Magician. You know what I mean. Girl World, stop watching this slop. I agree, don't give them the views until they stop babying Amber. And they're going to stop. when team decides that it's not working anymore. And don't give them money for their challenges because they usually don't even honor them anyways. The only time I will ever watch this is when Keem opens the floodgates and lets everyone go wild. She might pretend to quit, but she can't stay away. I agree. It will only be worthwhile if they stop silencing the critics. I mean, wasn't that what this whole thing was supposed to be, anyways? A chance for her to redeem herself and a chance for people to be able to say what they had to say, have a discussion. This reminds me of Frenemies, and I'm here for it. No, Frenemies had production value and was actually funny. This is more like the Timu version of Frenemies. I thought I was done with this particular live stream, and then I saw a comment that caught my attention. What I'm going to do is describe an AI depiction involving Amber and a cat. It's very graphic. If it's too much for you, skip it. I felt it necessary to address it because I feel passionately about animal, you know what, and I really don't care if it's AI generated. So I'm going to pause for a moment, and if that kind of thing bothers you, go ahead and skip or stop watching at this point, and thank you for being here thus far. And now I'll get to what I saw. During their live stream, there is an AI generated clip of Amber grabbing a cat, and it looks like she does something to its neck and throws it behind her to hit a wall and create a bee splatter while the others yell. It's obviously AI, but it's still very disturbing. Amber made it clear before that everything that goes on that show, she approves. So why would she approve something this sick when she's been accused of animal cruelty for years? But especially over the last year with the strange disappearance of her cat and the treatment of her dog. How does this help her with her defense of, I would never do that, those are my fur babies? She cries regularly about these accusations. Silence is consent, Amber. When people talk about Emily in your presence, you lose it. All these other disgusting things, you'll just sit there and stare into the abyss. Why? Keemstar knows where to draw the line. You've pretty much made that clear, and you've been getting your way quite a lot. During that live stream with Milky, where that song kept playing, Amber is fat, and killed her, you know what? You set in an argument with Milky that nothing goes on there without your approval. So why did you approve the shot of an AI version of you throwing a cat? I guess you weren't as bothered by the allegations as you've tried to pretend to be. It's absolutely insane to me that you allowed that. This might be one of the dumbest things you've done. I can't wait to see what kind of excuse you come up with for this one. I don't think there's any way for you to go back to your channel and pretend to be the sweet little Amber for your Am babies anymore. Enough about that. One of the things Amber says about people that I find troubling is calling them creepy. She said Fupa gives her the creeps. She said her Aunt Tammy gives her the creeps. Someone commented that Amber is going to cry to Keem and say that she's uncomfortable and creeped out by Fupa and try to get her fired. Amber uses dangerous terminology when she speaks about people that she doesn't like, and she does it quickly and she does it a lot. Saying someone gives you the creeps or someone is creepy has a lot of negative connotations. What does creepy mean? Here's an overview. A creepy person makes other people feel uneasy, uncomfortable, or slightly scared due to unsettling behaviors, often boundary violations, hidden intentions, especially sexual, or social awkwardness that feels predatory, creating a sense of, I don't know why, but something is not right. Amber, you really need to stop using that word to describe people, especially since it more accurately describes you. If anyone needs proof, they need only look at your tenure at LolCoWBuS and how often you're grabbing your chest, licking your fingers at people, sticking your tongue out in a sexual way, and talking about other people's private body parts. You're the one who is consistently creepy. Amber says all we know is what we see online. Okay, duh. You've been putting your life on YouTube for over a decade. What are we supposed to base our opinions of you off? Interviews with friends, which you don't have? Or your mommy, who you don't feature? The best way to know you has been what you've put on your channel over the years, even though you go back and change your stories, because you consistently forget your lies. Amberlynn talking about how Emily's ex didn't go to the afterlife from obesity. It was from pneumonia, she says. Amber told her live stream that Emily's ex shared information that Emily didn't want shared. So she violated her girlfriend's boundaries after crying about Fupa. Okay, I said that incorrectly. Not that Emily's ex didn't want the information shared. It was Emily, who is supposedly Amber's ex, depending on the day of the week, didn't want Amber to talk about her ex who passed away on Amber's live stream, and Amber did it anyways. After crying about boundaries and crying to Fupa about violating her boundaries. Amber, you shouldn't be trying to explain medical reasons for why this person passed away. What you should do is listen to Dr. Nalzardan from My 600-Pound Life and the many times he has told his severely obese patients that they will not survive if they catch a cold. He isn't trying to be funny or mean, although it's often perceived as mean. It's just the cold, hard truth. And you know it, Amber. So why are you playing games with semantics again? Scooter actually faked a crash out for sympathy donations. Wild. That's just kind of what he does. Freaks out, acts like a weirdo, cries, kind of like Amber. They definitely told Fupa to chill. They are silencing her by threatening her job. And by they, I mean Amberlynn Reid. She gets what she wants because she's a giant toddler. Agreed. I knew Amber was going to make Scooter's birthday all about her. She can't help it. Well, she made Beck's mother's illness all about her, so why should this be any different? Amber really scrubbed that neck to death. I don't even know what to say about that. Everybody saw it. That's Amber will fake a health scare to get out of going to fat camp. She does it all the time to manipulate people. That's definitely coming. She's definitely cooking that up. The most unrealistic thing here is Amber saying she's going to throw that cake in the trash. Well, like George on Seinfeld, cakes can be taken back out of the trash. Just saying. I usually watch through reaction channels, but thought I'd give this a chance. Instant regret. This whole stream was a hot pile of garbage. Totally agree. ALR. I can't escape this anywhere I go. Imagine she was just a decent human in her past. There would be nothing to escape. The truth is, I see people who have come back from lives where they did awful things, but they're able to come back from it because they do the work to actually take accountability. That doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't mean that you won't have to answer for it again when somebody brings it up. Throwing a fit about it shows that accountability wasn't real. It was just to shut people up. She isn't the biggest liar. She's been lying on YouTube for 10 years. 10 years. Funny how Amber calls Fupa fake for not saying anything to the girls from Glass, and yet she didn't take up for Fuba when the chubby girls came in. Well, Amber doesn't stick up for people. Everything is a one-way street. She completely ignores anything anyone says and doesn't stick up for anyone else and totally tunes out when it's not about her. Amber, what does it feel like to be King's court jester to make money? Scooter basically shared revenge corn with his boss and yapped about it with his coworkers, and also exposed his coworker's pregnancy, then did a whole pity party on how no one liked him for donations. These are the people that Amber's hanging out with. Amber can talk about Fupa's hair, nose, chin, things she can't control, but no one's allowed to talk about how Amber ate herself into a certain body type. Hmm, I cry, so I can't be a narcissist. Yes, she really said that. There are people who use crying as a manipulation tactic, and it's very frustrating to deal with. I actually have someone in my personal life who I don't deal with anymore because they start things and then when they get called out for it, they cry and they expect everything and everybody to stop because they're crying. And in the beginning, I thought, oh, how sad. This person's hurt and crying. Let me see what I can do. Let's work this out. And then you do that enough times and you realize this person is just doing that to shut you up and you get sick of it. And that's what Miss Big blah 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 tears does. If the screaming and the raging doesn't work, the crying starts. Mm-mm. Nah, cut that. The LolCow universe has allowed Amber to be the worst version of herself. She truly belongs there. I couldn't agree with that more. She said recently that she used to hate doing the live streams on her own channel, but when she goes on to LolCoWBuS, she gets to be herself. I hope that her Am babies don't forget that. Remember that, Am babies. She was being fake and phony. The version you see now is the real Amber. That's who you've been supporting. These blowouts give a little insight into what her girlfriends have been faced with all this time, while Am Babies thought she was being misrepresented by reaction channels. All of it is based on her own behaviors. There's no need to twist anything. She'll do it for you. After watching all of this, I decided to watch The Exorcism of Emily Rose to clear my head. No, I'm not kidding. I decided to share that with someone, and they said, The Exorcism of Emily's nose, and I'm literally dead now. I actually do feel better. And at the same time, Emily Rose in the movie was flipped over in her room, stiff and screaming and, having the demonic thing going on. My dog was on his back, rolling over and being his cute little self. And that was just what I needed, a demonic movie and my sweet little dog to get that beast out of my head. If you've made it this far, recommend your favorite horror movie. Hopefully, it'll be something I haven't seen because I feel like I've seen them all. Thank you.